2013 to 2019 Toyota Corolla rear brakes tutorial. What's up, everybody? I got a Corolla. I think actually this goes all the way down to 2009 to 2019. I'm gonna show you how to do the rear brakes. We're gonna go ahead and take off the wheel to 21 millimeter. Make sure you have your vehicle jacked up safely. 21 millimeter, then remove the wheel. All right, now let's take a look here. If you come on the back of this caliper here, you got two 14 millimeter bolts. They got to come off. One right here, one right here. So let's go ahead and break these. I do the bottom first. Now, something you might run into is the inside nut might spin on you and it won't let the bolt get loose. So if you have that problem, just hold the inside nut. The inside nut is a 17 millimeter nut, or you could use pliers and just hold it and then undo the outside 14 millimeter bolt and it'll come off. And then we'll go ahead and do the top now. Undo the top, remove this caliper bolt. We'll put it to the side, save these, don't lose them. All right, so now you should be able to wiggle this and pull it off, and then we're gonna support the caliper, of course, and go ahead and you can use a tool to hang it, or just, you know, whatever you got so it's not hanging by the brake line. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these brake pads. Now you might think, wow, those brake pads look pretty good. Well, these were super noisy and causing like grinding noise the customer hated, so I'm gonna replace them. If you have stuck pads, you could use a flathead to kind of gently pry them out. Just don't hit your rotor or scratch your rotor. So if you're just doing a pad slap, you could just skip to the end, but I'm taking the rotor bracket off because I'm going to be resurfacing the rotors. 14 millimeter again for the rotor bracket bolts. They'll be a little bit tighter than the caliper bolts, so you know you got to use a little bit more muscle. Go ahead and get these off right here. Unless you're using like an electric tool, then you know you could just zap them out. But remove these, save them. They're different from the caliper bolts, so keep them separated. And then we'll go ahead and set that to the side for now. Now, if you're replacing rotors, all you gotta do is take your rotor off. Now, if it's stuck, there's a little threaded hole right here. You could run a bolt in here and it'll push the rotor off the hub. This is a cool thing Toyotas have. Yeah, you just run this bolt down and then it'll just push the, you know, the stuck or the rusted rotor off the hub. You don't gotta go too far down even, you just do that. And then unscrew this, and then you can just take this and remove your rotor. So yeah, if you're getting new rotors, then just hang tight. One quick interruption. Hey guys, real quick, if you have an 11th generation Toyota Corolla, I just want you to know I have a repair tutorial video pack. It comes with over 40 videos that are all related to your Corolla, with PDF files, all kinds of extra things. It comes on a USB stick, so if you're tired of looking through videos that are kind of helpful online, or you're looking for a video that's not there anymore, this video pack's for you. It comes with the most common repair tutorials and then a lot of uncommon repair tutorials that you don't do too often. But whatever you got going on in your Corolla, it's probably covered in this video pack. Like I said, it's 40 videos. That's quite a lot. The price is $19.99. It comes on a 16 gigabyte USB stick as pictured here. All you gotta do is go to my fourth wall page, scroll over to the green USB, the video pack here, click checkout or add to cart, and then click checkout on the right. And then type in your shipping and your payment information, and then within a few days it'll arrive in your mailbox and you'll be good to go. Okay, back to the video. So here's new rotors on the Toyota parts catalog. They fit 2009 to 2019 Corolla, like I mentioned before. They sell these on Amazon, 89 bucks a pop. If you want to have good rotors, you could go that route. However, they do sell some for like 22 bucks, some aftermarket ones that seem to be a 5-star. So it's up to you what you want to do, but this one does have the same part number, so these are for the Corolla. I'll link it all below. And then real quick about the pads, I'm using Toyota OEM AZ pads. These are Toyota pads, but they're like a economy pad, but they're basically like a replica of real Toyota pads. They do need a shim kit. Now, this is SHIMS. If you're messing with Toyota pads, you're gonna have to do the SHIMS. Now, if this is like something you're looking at and you're like, I don't want to mess with, you could just get aftermarket pads, which honestly, they make really good aftermarket pads. I'll link them below, and they come with SHIMS and all the stuff already installed, so you don't got to worry about nothing like that. But if you want to do Toyota pads, I got you. I'm going to show you how to do the SHIMS. But like I mentioned, any aftermarket pads come with SHIMS installed, like these right here, so you can go that route. I'll link them all below, so you can just check that out. Now, the Toyota parts catalog says these Toyota pads you have to get the anti-squeal shim kit with them. Here's the part numbers. I'll link everything below, and everything's going to be below. But basically, so you say you get new Toyota pads, right? And they come bare like this. So you get your shim kit. It comes with grease. You put your grease on, and then you put the slotted vented shim on first. Now, they can't just go on any pad. There's different shims for the inside and outside pad. So you basically put your slotted shim on, and then you'll put your black one on top. This is like your buffer pad or buffer shim. And then you put a little bit of grease in between them, of course. And then your inside pad has these smaller ones like this. And then just make sure like it's looking good. It lines up with like the little notches and stuff on the pad. But this is basically how it should look. It looks more complicated than it really is. When it's in front of you, it's not that bad. All right, so I resurfaced my rotor. If you're replacing your rotors, cool. If you want to resurface yours, your local auto parts store may do it for a fee, but I'm just gonna resurface mine. While that's going, I'm gonna clean up my caliper. So I took the slide pins out, cleaned them off, put a little bit of lube on them, got my little wire brush, clean out the pathways on the hardware. So my caliper bracket's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy back on. Put the caliper bolts on, the 14 millimeter, and I mentioned it before, but I'll link all the parts and lube and tools and all that stuff below, so check that out. You could also download this video down below from my website, so you can have it forever. All right, so when you put these new pads in, you want to kind of nosedive the front of them, and then move the back of it into place. And I'll show you why I'm saying that. So if you look right here, there's like these little springs that you have to put the pad in between. So like if you look right here, if you go to put that pad in just straight, it's not gonna really want to go in. You kind of have to nosedive the ears of it and then turn it in. And then the inside pad has the sensor on it, of course. Put it in like that, and that's what it should look like. This is what it should be looking like for you. Make sure there's nothing crooked or like popped off a little bit. Okay, so here's our caliper. Now these are twist calipers, so you gotta twist them back into place. You don't just compress them like a regular one. They're not electric, not on this one, so you're good. But you're gonna need a toolkit like this. This is the one I recommend, I highly recommend. But if this isn't something you want to invest in, you can get a smaller little square one like this. But these work like 80% of the time. But if you have a stubborn caliper or something, sometimes they won't really work. But how it works is basically you have your caliper and you take this and put it on an extension and then push the caliper in while you're turning it, and then with enough muscle you can push it back into place. And then when I say put it in it, there's these openings on the caliper piston, and that's where you put your little notches, and then when you twist it, the notches will hit those edges and turn the caliper. But either way, either tool that you use, you'll probably be all right. So let's go ahead and do this on the real car. So with the kit I have, I found the adapter that fits in well with these ones. I'm gonna go ahead and get my tool out, get this guy right here, and I'm gonna give you like a quick tutorial on how to use it. You slide this over like that, and then basically you're gonna be turning this in two spots. We'll get our adapter on here as well. You're going to be rotating the end lever, which it will twist the caliper, and then you're going to be rotating this nut right here, which will apply pressure on it. So it's like, at the same time you're turning the caliper piston, and then you're also having that nut apply force to push it back into the caliper. Now I know this could be kind of annoying compared to just like a regular one, but this is the way a lot of cars are now, so it is what it is. And then your boot might start to twist and get mangled up a little bit. So if that happens, just back off your tool, and you could rotate the piston back and forth, and a lot of times that'll clear it up, or you could use your hands to kind of like massage it free. Yeah, these things, on some of them, they just get tangled up. I don't know what they do that for, but if you just you can use a tool to try to like lift it up and straighten it out, but you don't want to just keep going, because then it'll rip the boot, and then you'll have basically exposure to your piston and stuff. So you just kind of, what I like to do is I just rotate the piston back and forth until the boot kind of smooths out and goes back into its original form. But whatever you got to do, but that's how you do it. So I was doing my thing. This is kind of what it looks like. You're just rotating this part and then rotating the end piece. And then at the end, I was kind of rotating the piston back and forth to make the boot back in its original size. Or original form, I'm sorry. So we'll go and do that like that. Should look like this. And then when you put the caliper on, I'll show you something. There's on the inner brake pad, there's a little notch, and you want to put the caliper piston on so the opening goes over that notch. You can mark your piston like I did with the yellow just to kind of have an idea where to put it. But that way, so when it unwinds onto the pad, it's not like hitting that notch. So we're going to slide this caliper back on like this, and then we're going to line up our caliper bolts, put our bolts in, top and bottom, just get them hand started and then tighten them down. I'll put torque specs in the notes in the description below. But yeah, once you got that on, that's pretty much it, guys. You should be good to go. Just do that for both sides. Like I mentioned, you can download this video or buy my video pack that has this video included in it. And we'll hope this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. That's all the information I got for you. The rest of the video is just some products and other stuff I got going on. Totally up to you if you want to stick around. I got a 15% off Oxido.com promo code. Now, Oxido has a bunch of products, but what they're mostly known for is their really good aftermarket headlights. So if you got an older car, 80s, 90s, 2000s, even a newer car, if it has a bulb, they probably got an upgraded bulb for you. You may have seen aftermarket LED headlights on Amazon, but the thing, I'm not going to say any names, but the thing is, they have a lot of issues. Sometimes they start to flicker after a few months, or they get hot and the LED burns off. These are available on Amazon. You can get them there. However, if you go to the website and use the promo code Guillermo Auto, you can get 15% off. It's really easy. All you got to do is go to the website on your phone or your computer and then put in what kind of car you have, what year, make, and model, you know, that stuff, and then it'll display to you all the available lights for your vehicle. You can get headlights, tail lights, interior lights. Highly recommend getting some good interior lights. You'll be surprised how bright it is. So just type Guillermo Auto in at the checkout and you'll get 15% off.